That's what you do. You buy these clothes that cost me and make a difference in it. But we never do that.
Never complains, gets up, gets on, with a smile on his face.
You just want you to sit in your chair and go, hip hip hooray, for the Western press and the Western narrative, regurgitating the same old, every single day, without the truth. If you haven't seen it before, please watch the first two episodes, the second series.
We are on the site of the castle,
and it was the first time the Beatles had really stopped being semi-professional almost.
Look at that.
Absolutely fascinating.
Morning, everybody. I've just jumped up. Jumped up. Honestly, jumped up 5 minutes ago. Just ran in, made it. I haven't even had a shower or anything. I don't know. I woke up and I thought it must be about 8 o'clock because I don't have alarms on. I just get up early, you know. This is the first time I've ever slept in till late. Well, the second time. I must have needed it after last night. I must have needed it. But anyway, here I am talking about, I don't know what we'll be talking about because this goes on from one thing to another, this particular stuff. Just let me do this. I haven't a clue what this is behind me. It must be some sort of old science fiction film, sci-fi. I don't know who that is. Man, my coordination's terrible. But I don't know who this is. The girl. I don't know who the fella is. I had to say, the coordination. But anyway, I'm here. Just woke up. I've just made myself a cup of tea. That's what I did, look. I haven't even had a sip because it's boiling hot. It's boiling hot. So excuse me. I might have paid for us. Hi Frank and friends. Hi Miley. Missed you last night. It was alright. It was a good little pod. What we had. It was a good little pod. About everything. Everything was thrown into the mix last night. And I mean everything. Zelensky, Trump, Lavrov, Putin, obviously. Macron, wanting Odessa. Excuse me, I just really need this cup of tea. Paul Bay, good morning, Franco, hope you are well. Yes. Yes. And as I said, Paul, I've just jumped up this minute. Just brush my hair back. Came here. Good morning, like a brew in the morning, says the old mate Karen Kariaku. No, there's nothing like it. I didn't think I'd be able to make it, and I wouldn't have time to make it, to be honest. Honestly. Me too. You only got up as well. Oh, that's sleepy. Morning, Mr. C. Morning, Mr. S. So anyway, what kind of films have you been watching? I've been watching. Honestly, some of the woke films are absolutely dreadful. Wish the camera was somewhere here so I could look into it. Like that, like that. But all these things. Yes, some of the films I've been watching have been absolutely dreadful. The new films just full of woke. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. And I can't believe that Snow White isn't Snow White anymore. Well, why did he do this? Now, you might have thought, well, did you watch Snow White? I put it on. And I said, I'll put this out for me granddaughter. Because she was coming down to see it. She doesn't watch things. She's grown up, she said. She doesn't watch them. Granddad. So, okay. And that's the only thing I got to. It's not Snow White. Sounds a bit racist, don't I? But I'm not. Far from it. Far from it. It's just the wokeness is just stupid. You can't say nothing. I watched 15 minutes that shocked the world last night. A timely reminder. I watched 15 minutes that shook. Oh, a timely reminder. Can you explain a little bit more? I watched 15 minutes. That shook. Oh, do you mean the film? Is it a film? I've watched something similar. I was watching Threads again. I was comparing Threads and the day after. You know what's going on. Oh, right, okay. Neil Fitzmaurice's Rafa was it? I know Neil very well. Yeah, I know Neil very well. I thought you meant, watching films about the ends of the world, when things are going on in the world today. The way some people want it to end, I just don't know. Yeah, seeing that. A few friends of it was Drew Schofield. They're all good friends of mine. Istanbul. Yeah, that was the miracle of Istanbul, wasn't it? Yeah. 15 minutes that shook the world. Dave Kirby wrote it. He's married to a cousin of mine. The writer, the playwright. Good fella. Great fella. When you see people, the actors, the writers, and they've all got something to do with reality. Something to do with reality. There's always a theme. It's like the old plays, Brick Up the Mersey Tunnel. comedies, but there's a theme behind breakup. I was in one of them, believe it or not, at the Empire. That was written by Nicky Hills, another friend of mine. Me, and unfortunately, before he died, Dennis Sikora and Pete Price. We were the three ghosts. Sorry for slurping me tea, but I have to. Gary Rigby. Morning, Frank. Morning, Gary. The Time Machine was a brilliant film. Yes. Is that it? Is that who that is? There I was. Is that who that is? Oh, yeah. I remember the thing now, this. I remember. That's Yvette Mimieux. Am I right? And she's fighting this like, monster thing. That's in the future. Yeah, very good film. Try to show you the future. But the point is, what was so brilliant about the Time Machine, about H.G. Wells, he foresaw planes dropping bombs in a world war. And this is what the Time Machine was all about, wasn't it? Albeit that it was made around 1960. Yeah, weird that. That's good, that. Thanks, Gary, for reminding me. As I said, I've just woke up. James, morning, Frank. Sorry, I ain't been here for ages. I'm a globe trotter, but I've got to say 20 times yes. Walk on, but open your heart, and you'll never walk alone. That's lovely. Thank you. I tell you, I've been, as I said, I've mentioned it the last couple of weeks, I've been watching old films. And some of the best, funny enough, I was bored last night. You know, after the done the pod, I was bored. I said, well, what shall I watch for in the morning? And I thought, I'm fed up with this. You know, I was looking at some film. I said, no, I'm not watching that. I'm not. You know, when you read a synopsis and it says, what was it? An ex-CIA, ex-CIA, and his family are in trouble, something like that. And then he phones a friend up, special ops, ex-special ops. And I thought, no, please, no. Because you know the outcome. You know the outcome. And again, it's making Americans like, you know, brilliant. They can sort out everything. I'm not watching these type films. So anyway, as I was going through it, I've seen, and I've mentioned this loads of times, I think it's a great film. An Hitchcock film made in the 30s. And I thought, yeah. It was a bit of a, dare I say, propaganda. because in the 30s, we knew what was happening in the 30s, the saber rattling, and we were looking over towards Germany. So I had to look again but it was colourised, that's why I watched it. I went, well, look at this, black and white one, colourised. And it was The Lady Vanishes with Michael Redgrave and Margaret Lockwood. So I watched the colourised version. That was quite good, the colourised version. Did you watch Liverpool Britain's North Korea about Liverpool? I've got to be in the mood to watch that, or I'll just kick off on myself. Strangely enough, I was going to watch it yesterday, but to talk about it today. To be honest, Gary, a friend of mine phoned me up, former colleague, and he said, I'll come down and see you. And I said, okay. So we came down when he was there. Then all of a sudden, my daughter, Francine, she popped in to see me. And she never does it. Ever. Never, ever does. She must have been in. I never even asked her because Steve was sitting there, my old colleague, former colleague. Because the intercom went, and she said, I said, hello. She said, Dad, it's me. And I went, oh, okay, shocked. Because she never, ever does it. Pop in, if you know what I mean. So I never watched it. Gary, I didn't watch it. Do you know what? I follow two teams. I know I'm digressing here from films. I follow two teams in Italy, only because of the family side. I follow Napoli and I follow Inter. And they're the both of them fighting out for the league. How strange is that? How strange. Inter won it. Napoli won the league. But I prefer Simeone and Inzaghi rather than Conte. This manager of Napoli. He's done a good job, though. Very good job with Napoli, especially to win the league. But anyway, that's for another time. Gary says Snapey. The national media's portrayal of Liverpool is just regurgitated. You're right. This is what it's. Anyone says anything about Liverpool, there's a little pattern. There's always a little pattern. But some of us are Scousers I'm talking about, are our own worst enemy. The city and its people bear no correlation with the spouted by people who've never been here. As I said, there's a pattern. A pattern grows in everything, and people do follow patterns, albeit they haven't a clue what they're talking about. And I'm not just talking about Liverpool or anything. It's anything. It's anything. And it's like, again, you might think I'm digressing, but I'm not. It's like what's going on in Ukraine, and they follow what the West is saying instead of looking at them for themselves. But they look at the media and they go, and they believe what the media is saying. They believe it. Instead of saying, well, hang on, I was mentioning last night about the Romans and having a motive. Going back, you always have to have a motive to go into a country. Always. You just don't do it. You're always after, and I gave an example of the Romans and with the AD 43 invasion, Claudian invasion. And I was saying about even Hitler, people say, well, he just walked into the likes of Czechoslovakia, 1938. Why he walked into Czechoslovakia is because the spoils of the war, let's say First World War, the West decided, the Allies decided to say, oh, we'll break up Germany and this. We'll break it up. And they took a part of Germany and made it into Czechoslovakia. Part of southern Germany. Then a part of East Germany to make it into Poland. Put it into Poland. So we said, after the armistice, and all this thing going on into the 30s, when he became Chancellor, he said, I want we want our country back. Because German-speaking people, you've got to understand, those German-speaking people in like Czechoslovakia were wanting to go back to Germany. They say, oh, we're not Czechs, we are German. The same as in Poland. The same as in Poland. There was German-speaking people. It was part of Germany once, and now it's Poland. Well, hang on a minute. It's like the Canadians today. When Trump came out and said, listen, I want you as a 51st state, the most of the Canadians went, oh, we don't want to be part of the EU. We don't want to be part of America. We're our own sovereignty, we're Canada. You see? Even when Trump named the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America, and the Mexicans said, you can't just do that. And that's why the likes of Putin, the Russians, went into these areas, Russian-speaking and Russian cultural places in Ukraine. There was a motive, and that motive was that the Russian-speaking people were being shelled and killed. And Putin was warning the West all the time. For 9 years, he was saying, look, you've got to stop this. They wouldn't. They were provoking Russia, as they were saying, poking the bear. And this is what's happened. So you see, you always got a motive. Everyone. I'd love to hear your take on it. I don't know what the guy was getting, as he was obviously trying to provoke people, interviewing people outside Anfield He's an upper class twit. Look, I always remember when I got my qualifications, like, PhD, I was told to lose my accent. And I thought that was the most horrendous thing anyone could ever say to me. Lose your accent immediately. And I was sickened by that. I was sickened. As I was getting it, as I was being presented with, I couldn't believe it. And I just thought, how can anyone say that to a person who's the accent? And again, as I mentioned before, I could have been doing something, well, I should have been, with Neil Oliver. Great fella, nice fella. Him and I going around the country about history, and but the heads of the BBC at the time were like, oh, we can't have his accent. That's what it. So people like that. Look, I tell you who, that Clarkson fella, he hates Liverpool. Did you know that? Top gear fella hates Liverpool. Hates us with a passion. He was here, he had to come here to do something on that Top Gear. And he went into a restaurant. And he said, I'll catch these. You're in Scousland. He said, wait till it. So they ordered something. And the other two, they said, I'll behave, because they ordered a sauce. And the girl went over. And he ordered what they were on this particular sauce. And she said, I don't think we have that. So anyway, and he was laughing, like looking at them other two fellas who was with. Told you. Hey, told you. Where's the culture? So the girl went away and she told the manager, and the girl manager, female manager. And she said, okay, don't worry. And went over to them and said, I'm sorry, gentlemen, you were told that about this. So she said, we have got it. She said, she's only started yesterday and hasn't a clue. And she's a student from outside. And the source will be victim here, took people and walked away. You see what I mean? Honorable. But there's lots of them who are like that. One of my favourite actors, Bill Nye, great actor. I seen him at a game, Liverpool and Arsenal, years ago. And I seen him sitting in the stand over there. And it was half time, did they all go for a couple, and he was still sitting there. So I went over a couple of the things. This was in the Anfield Road, actually, before this got refurbished. And I went, excuse me, Mr. Knight. And he looked at me, he said, hello. I said, I'm going to ask the stupid question. What are you doing here? And he just laughed. And he said, well, I'm not going to give you the answer, like watching the game. He said, I love football. I love Liverpool Football Club. I think he said, I've been watching you through the years, And he said, I'm up here. He said, I'm filming. He said, I got a ticket. You know, I was lucky enough to get a ticket, invited along, and there I am. Oh. So you say he never said that he supported Arsenal or anything. He just loves Liverpool. He never even said that he supports us. He just said that I love Liverpool for what he's done in the past. No football. So you do get people who love Liverpool. Brad Pitt loves Liverpool. I tell you, who loves Liverpool. One of my favourite actors is Billy Bob Thornton, and he supports Liverpool because he came here, Billy Bob. So we do have people who love Liverpool and come into Liverpool unbeknown. Just visit. But you do have people. What do you call it? You call it jealousy, envy. Because what we've given the world, Liverpool, people go, oh, go away. I always remember I was asked to do something, and it was every year. And I had to go and stay in this place. Anyway, I had to go and stay in it. On the Wirral, as we call it here. On the Wirral. And I had to stay for the weekend and take these people out, you know, give a lecture and take them out and whatever. And I had these people from Hampshire this time, and took them out. You know, we got the ferry over. They loved the ferry. I told them all about the ferry and gets into Liverpool. And we're walking around. I'm saying, see that, see this, see that, given the history behind things. And this lady, all she was saying was, surely not. It must have been London. Must have been London who did that first. Surely not. Every time. The very first, well, I was looking at the library because you get off the ferry. Looking at the library. I was saying, to see that. The very first. Steel reinforced concrete building in the world. This woman's saying, oh, surely not. It must have happened in London, not here. Not here. I said, no. Believe me. And all through, right through the day, she was saying it. And even the other people were saying, oh, stop it. He wouldn't be saying these things otherwise. He wouldn't be saying it. I showed them a certain thing. And I said, what do you think that is? And people go, oh. And they were trying to guess. And I said, well, it's one nearly got it, actually. I know, like, nearly got it. Doesn't sound right. But anyway, it was Cinderella's coach. Cinderella's coach. And this there was a fella, actually, he said, that comes from a fairy tale. He said, I can't think. I said, well, I'll give you 5 minutes to think. And I was talking about it, and he said, listen, I can't. And I went, okay, I had to tell her because I was on the move. I said, it's Cinderella's coach. And he went, God, right. And this woman came. But she was going through it. And in the end, I just got so fed up. I just said, I'm sorry, I can't go on and do this unless you leave. I said, you've got some agenda against Liverpool. You must have come up here and you must have been saying to yourself, I want all the negative stuff. I said, but I've given you some negative stuff. But, I'm giving you all the positive stuff. What we've done, what we've given the world. And even people were waving to us because they knew me and going, oh yeah, and they will actually say, you're going to enjoy yourself. Even so, who was it? So, I forget where it was a Scottish fella, Scottish couple. And they came over and he went to shaking my hands. He said, are you Frank? And I said, are you? And they said, you don't remember us, but we went around with you a couple of years ago. And they just said around to the group and said, you're going to really enjoy yourself with this gentleman. You see? So, as for us being North Korea, sorry to rattle on about it. I really am. Sorry. So I said to the group, I said, oh, I'm just walking away now. And even the people were saying to her, stop it. Please. You're spoiling our day. So whatever she said about me, was never invited back. Snapey, nothing gathers momentum like a salacious narrative. I should have worn my hair. I'm sorry, but I can hardly bloody read with these things on. There's currently 170 million people speak German on the mainland. Deutsch is the most prevalent language on mainland Europe. Yeah, our language, ourselves, the English language, is what you call a Low German talk. I bet you didn't know that, Snapey. Oh, Saxons get everywhere, don't they? Christopher. Hi, Frank and everyone. Hi, Christopher. Simon LFC. Morning, Franco. I think it's a stigma. Celts like myself always are looked down upon. Never forget your roots. It's the foundation that builds your existence and the secret to your future. Brilliant. Brilliant. Carries on. That is why I'm so proud of Liverpool being an adopted Scouser, and love the passion and desire to never give up, to fight for justice and to be proud of who we are and never be afraid to express it. That's the jealousy, you see. Do you know I've got my pajama top on? Not that I wear pajamas. I do go to bed and then take them off. I just do everything. Do you know, honestly, I woke up, I must be around 8 o'clock or something like that. 18 minutes past 10. Paul, the old mate Paul. We're only here. Hang on. We only hear from the 80s, and that's the media narrative, of course. This is why, Liverpool have won the league, and it's, great. But they're coming out saying it's been the worst league no one has given us any credit. But believe it or not, it was an Evertonian who started that. Believe it or not, tweeting, this must be the worst league because look at who's winning. That's what he said. And he jumped on that. Snapey, everything our football club in this city stands for appeals to the people who identify individuality. That is, those who think for themselves and form an opinion based on their own experience. Excellent. Sound like crazy Penelope there. Talking about that woman from Hampshire. Yes. I'm surely not. Could have done the voiceover. Snapey. Without construction technology that created the Lava building, there'd be no skyscraper. That's true. Steel-framed construction technology was created in Liverpool. It's true. See that, Stephen? Absolutely. Keith Reedy, that guy who made the Liverpool North Korea thing is far right promoting the racial theories on intelligence. In the video he repeats, I was there. Best not to watch that. No, I was going to watch it. I was really, but you know, I get very irritated these days. Trying to defend. I've always defended. I was on holiday. I'll give you an example. I mentioned this before. I was on holiday. I was in Italy. I was on my own. And I was sitting at a table outside, beautiful evening, balmy. There was a couple sitting on a table, the only ones there, but it was an outside thing. And sitting there, and this woman shouted, where are you from? Liverpool. To me, where are you from? I said, oh, I'm from Liverpool. And her husband, what's your handbag? So I went over and I never spoke to her. I just said to the lady who shouted, where are you from? I said, do you think for one moment I'm going to come over here, take your handbag and run off her? And she laughed. She said, no. I said, thank you. And just walked away and sat down. That's what we put up with. Ciao, come sta, Franco? Bene, grazie. Bene, grazie. A lei. A lei, ciao. Molto bene. Ma dove? Dome. Hello, Frank. Good morning, says Edward. Hi, Edward. Simon. Frank, why do Everton fans hate Liverpool fans so much? Am I wrong? But it's sad how the banter seems to come across as hatred. Yeah, I went from banter and then all of a sudden I think I could say it. I think you've got to come to your own conclusions. The biggest factor is definitely jealousy. What we've achieved. Think yourself a child, little boy, running around playing, right? And all of a sudden, say like you're playing football, and then you put little kits on or whatever, and a couple of them are playing in their ordinary clothes, but you come out in a kit. Your mum got you the kit. Yeah. A kit do you support? And you're playing in it. And you ask your own parents, can you do this? And they said, no, we can't afford it. Well, that kid will be targeted who's in the kit by the kids who can't afford the kit. Or because of jealousy. And that's the way it is today. Look what we've got. But it used to be banter. I remember in '84 going down to Wembley. It was brilliant. Both sets of fans, Merseyside, Merseyside, Merseyside. Both sides. First Merseyside derby, final. Brilliant. And after Hillsborough, it just went downhill. Everton fans will always be jealous. But there's jealousy everywhere. It's not just Everton fans now. It's everywhere. Everywhere. Every club. I don't want to talk about football, to be honest. Oh, this fucking pain. I don't want to talk about football, but it's jealousy on a huge scale. And I'm talking about every other fan. We get a young lad on it, I don't know, Johan, Man United supporter, and he's genuine. We get a lad from Leeds, Fairley, he's genuine. They're the old school. I'm old school. But once you're jealous, that's it. People are jealous of me, you know. And I'm talking about friends. I'll never forget, I was out with them. It was one of the lads' birthday. And, you know, when you don't see, I grew up with these lads. Grew up with them. Same neighbourhood and everything. And as soon as I went, they were like that about me. Like that. How do I know? Because there was a couple of lads who knew me. Young fellas. Because I was their lecturer. And they were just out for the night out. Now, they weren't there when I left. I said, listen, I've got to go. Great, give them all a hug. Got off. And these lads walked in. I went out one way, and these, like, two of my ex-students walked in, you know. I went to the bar, but they were talking about me, my friend, calling me for everything. Who the fuck does he think he is? Jealousy. And I know that anyway. I know that. I knew it before they told me, you know, it's the way it is. It's the way it is. It's sad how we came together for tragedies like Hillsborough. Just angers me. We have to deal with enough haters who for years have tried everything to demean, discredit this city and our great club. See Simon. It's more there. It's more Liverpool, unfortunately, Liverpool club, rather than Everton. No one gives a toss about Everton. And I said to an Evertonian once, you know, when they were calling us Scousers, you know, feed the Scousers and all this nonsense, bin zippers. I said, do you realise they're talking about you? You a Scouser? Yeah. No, they don't mean us, they mean you. So they can't, like, gather the information into what's the Scouser's name? A Scouser, you know, and you're a bin zipper. Do you see what I mean? The uneducated. We used to go together I remember this, what you're going to say, together, EFC, LFC, and there was never a segregation. In the ground, I think you are right, that bitterness and jealousy has caused the friction. And it did start with Emlyn Hughes saying that Liverpool are magic, Liverpool are tragic. He said that. And that destroyed it. I've always said that, Keith. I've always said that. He's the cause of it. For saying it. You know, because you get an Evertonian, he was all right, you know, and having banter. And what if an Everton player, a captain who was picking up a trophy on the steps on St. George's Plateau to thousands, saying, Liverpool are magic, Everton are tragic. What if it was being vice versa? Everton are magic, Liverpool are tragic. You go mad. Oh, why did he say that? But that's how it started. Back in the day. After that, really, it gathered the momentum. It gathered pace throughout the years. But it was Emlyn Hughes who really kicked it all off. But there was still banter afterwards. Then all of a sudden, then it just became hatred. Especially in the 80s when Everton were a very good side. They really were. And I've always said historically, when Thatcher and the managed decline, what saved the whole of the city from apathy was the two football teams going to the game every Saturday. because they were two great teams that saved us. They gave us hope, those two great teams. But unfortunately, after 89, the final, that's when it started to go down. The FA Cup final, when we beat them. Lots of Liverpool fans are not happy. He said that. Yeah, I wasn't happy. I said, why did he say that? Why did he say that? I know some people who actually pulled him about it, Liverpool fans. And when they say, what the fuck did you say that for? We have to fucking live here. See that he's a non-scouser, albeit he played for him. He didn't know the mentality. Emlyn, great player, loved Emlyn Hughes. I picked him as a left back in the all-time favourite team, Emlyn Hughes. But I have to go, Frank, says Paul. Enjoy the rest of the show. Take care, all. You'll never walk alone. Lovely, thank you. See you, Paul. Great man. Now, I'll get criticised for this, because I know that Evertonians tune in. But I'll get criticised. And it's only speaking like the way it is, the way I see it, the way not just I see it, but a lot of other people see it. But I'll be criticised, like I normally do. I know you want to finish talking about football, but can I ask you, if you don't mind, do you ever think the truth about Hillsborough will ever come out and expose the facts, aka recent JFK? But the facts have come out, yeah? You can't get any clearer. We have been exonerated, as you know. Excuse me, I've got this fucking pain again. I just wish I was free from pain. Honestly, knocks me sick. Especially like when I haven't nothing to eat or anything, but that's by the by. I always remember, and it was in an interview, two things. One, the fella who wrote The Truth, the actual journalist he was on, and he said to that Mackenzie, when he was, re-editor, don't forget Mackenzie's the editor, he can do anything he wants. And the lads went, the reporters, you can't do that. That never happened. I haven't reported that. And he said, and he was on television saying it. He said, you can't do that. I never wrote that. I never seen anything what you're writing. Went to Ed with it. The truth. We were pickpocketing the dead. Us, the fans, pickpocketing our own dead. Urinating on the police who were trying to give them CPR. Think about it. There was television cameras, and they never seen anything like that. Anything. Excuse me. Hiya, Chris. Yeah, listen, I'm doing a live broadcast at the moment. Give me a ring in about half an hour. Cheers, Greg. Okay, so. I've lost my train of thought, I'm sorry. I've lost my train of thought. Yeah, so this fella, he was saying you can't do it. And there was a police lady who was in the gym. And this detective, two detectives, one male, one female, went to see this girl. And he said, listen, you weren't there. She said, I wasn't. And she was actually filmed in the thing. This is the start of the cover-up. This is the Thatcher cover-up. This is the Thatcher cover-up. This is the Thatcher cover-up. Started it. And it was shocking. But we were exonerated. It all came out. But as regards as private papers and whatever, yeah, it will come out. It will. I always remember Theresa May as when she was the Home Secretary. And there's a load of paedophilia going on at the time. You know, they were talking about it, all these paedophiles. And as Home Secretary, he said, listen, you know, you'll have to get these files and whatever. She said, okay. You know, it was a load of bollocks what she was coming out with anyway. Oh, yeah, okay, I will. And it was a load of bollocks says, yeah, oh, you'll have to go and get the file. That was a load of bollocks because they knew what was going to happen. And then all of a sudden, she lost the files. Do you ever remember that? Does anybody ever remember that? The paedophile files. She lost them. Still haven't been fucking found. All the names. Will they ever come out? Might be after a nuclear war or whatever that is. Might come out in about 400 years' time. See what I mean? If the survivors of this planet, the paedophile file and the files on Hillsborough will come out. But television was there. Nothing was picked up about anything. And as I said, even the police, were saying, oh no, scrubbing everything out. No, you weren't there, to this girl, this policewoman. And there was a few other police, oh, you can't say that. No, and screwing out their reports with other policemen. It really gets to me, though. It really gets to me. It's one of those things that it's like anything, even what's going on today. People believe what they read and hear. It's shocking. East, bad. West, good. And it's shocking what's going on. People don't want to listen to what's going on in Ukraine, for example. They just think that Putin's an awful man. Putin's one of the greatest leaders. He's unbelievable. But people believe what they read and just keep looking at the BBC. Just keep looking at the BBC and ITV News. Just listen to a load of garbage that's coming out. Lindsey Graham, I want all the Russians dead. Think about that. Think about what's going on in Gaza. What's Iranians ever done to you? You've got the evil axis. The axis of evil. What have these people ever done to you? Done nothing to me. Some Iranian hasn't done anything to me. Some North Korean hasn't done anything to me. They pick things. They're evil. Russians, Chinese, the axis of evil. And it's all because of resources. America's going mad, jealous economically at China and their technology. Remember, they tried to blame them for COVID. Wuhan. It was a leak from Wuhan in China. Remember that? I'm coming out with all these mad little documentaries about a bat starting as well. I was going, how did these know this? Little documentary team. Because it was staged. And where's it just come out recently? Where's it just come out and said, well, here's where it started? In North Carolina. You see? So if you want to have a go, make anyone your enemy, bang, you talk about them. And tell other people about it. Me, as I said, I gave me a fine example. It's horrible. I'm not horrible. I'm a good person. I know I am. No fool, but sometimes I am. But I'm a good person. I'm not self-promoting myself. I'm just me. I'm just me. Excuse me. And it's through jealousy. I know. Snapey, the fact that nobody incarcerated had been incarcerated for 97, being unlawfully killed, tells the rest of the world, sends a damning message around the world. It says the British establishment are unaccountable. It stinks. Here you go. There you go. It's as simple as that. Sorry, Franco. What I meant was, after all that has come out, no one has ever changed, and I feel that there are still things to establish. Oh, of course, yeah, that's what I was trying to say. It will come out. There are files. I remember Jack Straw coming out and saying, I can't do nothing. Now, Jack Straw, it was a coincidence. It was a coincidence. He was supposed to, I always went to the memorial up in Anfield. Always there. Used to get to me, you see, all the time. And I was there, and we were expecting Jack Straw, but he was ill. He was ill. And it was another fella who you all know, an Evertonian, Scouser. And it was one fella in the cop. Now, he came up to tell us, Jack Straw was just took no notice, what I'm going to say. And said, we can't do anything. That was what he was going to say to the people, to us, sitting in the cop, sitting in the ground at the memorial. We can't do anything. We cannot do anything. So anyway, it came out, this fella in the cop, it was brilliant. I was sitting in the cop myself, and he went, "Justice," just stood up, "Justice, we want justice, justice." And they all stood up. And he just stood there looking. Went back to Blair and said, "We've got to do something. We have to do something." And that's how it went. Now, Tony Blair's got a terrible legacy. He's got a terrible legacy because of Iraq. That's one of the good things he did. Not Iraq, said, gave the go ahead, investigate. Remember Betterson? Betterson, when he went for the job, Chief Mersey said, "Think about this." He was ordered to go and see what's going on around Liverpool. And the vacancy came up with Chief of Merseyside, Chief Constable of Merseyside. Remember the CV? Remember the CV? Never forget Frank Prendergast, who was our leader. And there was a woman named Gustafson. And she gave the nod for him to become Chief Constable. Frank Prendergast got up and walked out disgusted. He said, "You can't have him." Because what he said on his application said, "Was you at Hillsborough?" He went, "No." And he was fucking there. He told lies. Betterson. And he became Chief Constable only to keep his eye on us. Why am I going on about this? Callum. Frank, I have Everton and Liverpool shirt on my wall. Everton one will have a 9 on the back, and Liverpool one. Yeah, that was great. Great gesture. But when we were exonerated, everything, yeah. Bill Kendrick came out and went, we'll have a little memorial to Goodison. Why did he fucking do it years before? Why did he believe the estate? He always wanted a knighthood, Kendrick. Always wanted a knighthood, never ever got it. He was always donating to the Labour Party. Never achieved his goal. That was to get a knighthood. I'm not speaking ill of the dead, but that's how they worked. But I did say at the time, why didn't he believe us? Why did they have to wait until, the exoneration? And there still hasn't been justice, and I don't want to go on about it. The BBC kicked off Gary Lineker for speaking the truth. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. That's what the BBC are like. BBC equals bloody, what's that, ball? Can't see. Bloody ball cancer. Barley, is that ball? Yeah, they are cancerous. What's the best film you've seen this week, Frank? Do you know what? Thank you. Thank you. Ezra, the best film, I know this is mad. This is mad. As I said, I've been looking at that. I can't watch the Wokes. I really cannot watch the Wokes. I've had enough of them. Fuck. So the best film, I went back and looked at an old one. An old fucking hell, this pain. I went back and watched an old film, and well, pretty old films, and one of them was The Wild Bunch. The Wild Bunch, and there's a scene in it which is the best scene I've ever seen in any film. And there are some great scenes in other films as well. You know, where you see, you know, like Jaws, for example, where you see Roy Scheider, you know, throwing out the chump, you know, enticing the shark near the boat, and he looks, and he just backs up and he goes, "We need a bigger boat. You'll have to see this massive thing." That's one of the great scenes. But this scene was incredible in The Wild Bunch, where you just see the four of them. They're going to rescue the lads, you know, Angel, who the Mexicans are going to kill him. Excuse me. 2 words were spoken by William Holden to Ben Jonson, Ernest Borgnine, and Warren Oates. And he just looked at them. And Ernest Borgnine sitting on the, you know, against the wall. And he just went, "Let's go." He stands up, and you see the 4 of them walking down the street, going to the depths. They were going to they know that they knew that they were going to their depths. Great scene. Poignant, haunting, you name it, dramatic. 4 of them walking. And funny enough, all in black and white. You know what they were wearing? Absolutely brilliant. So I watched that. The Wild Bunch, such a great film. What else did I watch? I watched another little cracker, but it was a take on the Body Snatchers. But it's a really good film, and it's called Assimilate. It's like a modern day film, modern day, and it's about 2 young fellas who, you know, they're like vlogging their town that they live in. You know, they're just vlogging it, little town, going around, you know, saying, "Look at this and look at that." Great film. It's a smashing. It's just called Assimilate. So that's another one I watched. And the other one I watched, Edward, as I mentioned before, was The Lazy Vanishes, which is a colorized version. I think it's a cracking film. Hitchcock in his early days, but very good. Early days, but very good. So that's one. There was a film on yesterday, and I forgot to watch it. But you can get it on that red button. You know, is it Talking Pictures? excuse me, is a talking pictures called The Fallen Idol. Black and white, Ralph Richardson, The Fallen Idol, cracking story. That's one of my favourite films, but I never watched it. Simply because I forgot all about to watch it. It was on the, but you can always get it on that red button thing. I went, oh, I'll watch this. But I was busy, wasn't I? Because of, I think it was on in the afternoon. And a friend of mine came down, Francine was down. Callum. Edwards, he's relived you brought film up. Always relieved, yeah. You brought film up. But, thank you. I know what you mean with woke films. I watched a film where they demean men. Yeah. Yeah. I just don't like it at all. I don't know why they're trying to do it. Excuse me. Snapey. Gotta get off, Frank. Off down to Stoke. The M6 is calling. Nice little hours interaction, fella. I'll be back tomorrow to prepare for Monday's tumultuous title parade. Yes. Safe journey. Safe journey. Stay. Hello, Frank. And legend, says Johan. Hi, Johan. Good morning. See, Sneaky. Edward. There's a series I watched about gangs in Milan. A bit slow, but the ending was good. Blocko. What's that? Is that Blocko? Blocko. Well, it was called. I'm trying to think of a series. I'll tell you what to watch. I thought the first series, oh, fuck it. Forget the name of it. It's a brand new series, but I watched the first series with Nicole Kidman in it, and it was very good. And it was about, excuse me, it was about someone, like a person who can give you a better life or quality of life, where you go to these places. And she's like a guru sort of thing. Nicole Kidman. And it was very good, the first series, really was. Short series. That's all I. But again, it's just come out that there's a series 2, and I thought, oh, fuck. So I gave it like a little bit of thing, a little start. And I think there's a bit of wokeness in it. So I thought, cut it off. And I like Nicole. So I started to watch. Is it The Perfect Couple? Says Johan. I think so, yeah. I think so. The Perfect 12, is it? Because she always has 12 people there. But I'll give it another couple of things. Another couple of episodes. But if it's going to be, stupid woke, I won't watch it. I tell you what, I started to watch. So funny. And I got it up and I went, that'll do me. Remember Bilko? Because we were talking about it a couple of weeks ago, weren't we, Bilko? And I got it up. Still laugh. Bill Cole, Phil Silvers, unbelievable. So anyway, that's me for today, people. I've got to go and have some breakfast. There we go. Do you know what? That's a very good. That's the best series ever made, The Sopranos. And as Edward says, Michael Imperioli said, each Soprano episode was like a film. It was. I always got the one where Ben Kingsley made an appearance as himself. I like Kingsley. So funny. Oh, come on. What the fuck? James. Just as a message of lovely. I think box sets have taken over films easily. Do you know, like the way Liverpool is portrayed as was going on before? I'm only like what you're saying about series and things and all the negative about Liverpool. I'm doing something. And it's not going to be like that. Liverpool is going to be shown in a great light. Honestly, what I'm going to do. It's going to be my legacy when I leave the earth. Edward. Good episode, that one, Frank, with Kingsley. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And that's what Kingsley's all about. A great man, great fella, great actor. Ben Kingsley. I seen him in a film, forget the title. And it was like a terrorist, and you see him, he's Arab, you know. We are going to do everything we are going to do to the West. All the West will suffer. It was an Arab. You know, I should bad here. But it was so funny. I forget what it was. And all of a sudden, the CIA and they all break into this, like, where, yeah. They grab him and he goes, hang on a minute, I was only told to, I'm an actor, I was only reading the script. Talking like, yeah, I'm only an actor, I was writing the script. It was so funny. I forget what film it was. Good episode, that, yeah, it was. That was Johan. Frank, there's an Aussie show called Mr. In Between. You should check it. I will watch anything Australian. Sorry. The last Australian thing I watched was called The Surfer. It was the deconstruction of a human being, mentally, but it was fucking shocking. Wasting my time. Oh, fuck off. Not having that. I'm not having it. In the one spot. It's Nicholas. I like Nicholas Cage. Try and catch it at the surface, see what you think. I did it. And that was recommended to me. But I don't think the person who recommended it had seen it. Have a good day, Frank. Thank you, Edward. You too. And my favourite, I'll leave you with that. There's been great comedy. I love comedies. And one of the best series, the first 3 series, is Plebs. I don't like when they change casts. You just get used to the same cast. First 3 series are Plebs. Love that. About 3 lads in ancient Rome, but they spoke modern day language. So funny. Rigsby, brilliant. Rigsby. Fawlty Towers. Bilko, mentioned Bilko before. It's funny, I hardly watched any American comedies series. False laughter. Shocking. Never ever watched them. Ever. The only thing I watched was Bilko. So that's me for today, boys and girls. I know that some of you have left me. And I'll see you tomorrow, all you football fans. Watch along. Last game of the season. Oh, Myra, I thought you'd gone. Take care, everyone, says that lovely Myra, all the way from South Africa. She's not like living here. She's still in South Africa, tuning in. And she knows all about what's going on in Ukraine. All about it. All about it. If you think about it. People disagree with us because they just follow the same narrative as lots of other people do. And it's wrong. Look at the alternative marriage. Not marriage. Look at the alternative narrative, the news. Just look at them. Myra and I. And a few others, obviously, loads of others. Am I right, Myra? Of course I'm right. I should have said, are we right, Myra? Of course we're right. Peter Beardsley. Hello, deal off for Verts due to FSG not wanting to pay the full package. They wanted to pay installments. Says to Peter Beardsley. But that was the same as Zubamendi, wasn't it? I'm not believing what you're saying there, though. Peter Beardsley fan. But it wouldn't surprise me if it did come up. It's like the Zubermenzi this time last year when they were asking for the full and listen, just give us the money, you can have Zubermenzi. And we was I think it must have been the Invisible Man, Richard Hughes, saying, "Oh no, can we pay in instalments?" He said, "Oh, fuck off." That was the end of it. That was the end of Zoom, who was supposed to be getting. And as I said last night on the pod, I was talking about conspiracy theories, but someone mentioned it, and I said, and the night before I had my Liverpool pod, and I said I don't believe anything until I see a lad sitting at the AXA training ground signing a contract and holding up a shirt with his name on the back. Won't believe anything to what we go through. See you, Frank says, keep easy. See you, Keith, mate. Johan. Take care, legends. Have a great day. Yes, everybody have a great day today. It was raining last night, wasn't it? Seeing as all. Not that I was out of it. But anyway, take care, everybody. See you all tomorrow. Thanks for keeping me company this morning, albeit that I'd only jumped up. Still I've had one cup of tea. Made myself a cup of tea before I came on. And I can get a shower. What I'll do, I'll get a shower first. Change. Oh, Capo. Hey, Capo. Come on. INFC just back from playing 7-a-side to catch the last part. I was on the comments on Thursday, but something went wrong, didn't it? Enjoy the game and the parade, says the capo himself, the boss. I mean, enjoy the game and parade. Knew what you meant, boss. So that's just for me anyway. Thanks for staying with me, as I mentioned. And I'll see some of you tomorrow on the watch along. It'll be like a quarter of an hour, half an hour before the kickoff for the pre-match, and then I'll have a post-match. Thank you so much. Ciao. Ci vediamo domani. A domani.